This has nothing to do with Klay Thompson of the past. I'm talking Klay Thompson, who returned from two major injuries. He has cost the Warriors last year against the Lakers, shooting 3 for 11, 3 for 12, and then 3 for 19 in games 4, 5, and 6. And then yesterday, he shot like 0 for 10 from three-point range. He had 0 points. This is not the same Klay Thompson. And I get it. He had 18 points in the regular season, but very inconsistent. I think this is the end of the big three for the Golden State Warriors. He's going to want a max contract. He declined the 2-year contract for $75 million at the beginning of the season. No way the Warriors are going to offer that to him now. It's time for the Warriors to get Steph Curry a second superstar. People love to praise Bob Myers. I know Dunleavy's the GM right now, but they praise Bob Myers. Bob Myers has made some terrible mistakes as the Warriors GM. It's clear he saw this coming, so he dipped out so he wouldn't have to make these decisions. But let's look at some of the bad decisions he's made. Look at the draft. They could have drafted Anthony Edwards. Even though they had the second pick, Minnesota was willing to trade the first pick for the second pick. So they declined that. Then they said that they thought LaMelo Ball was the most talented in the draft, but they picked James Wiseman because they wanted a center. Well, since they did that, they've not had a true center on the roster. They have Looney, who's a power forward, and they have Jackson Davis, who would also be a power forward on many other teams. They don't have a true traditional center. Then look at last year. Kevin Durant was available for trade. They could have easily just drafted Poole and Wiggins. That's when their stock was at all-time high. Now Wiggins' stock has dropped drastically after having the two worst years of his career. Poole's on the Suns now. They could have even traded Clay and Wiggins, or Clay and Poole, and they could have kept one player that they deemed valuable. And they wouldn't have to trade Kuminga because Kuminga's stock was not high last year. He barely got any playing time. Kevin Durant is still playing at a phenomenal level. It's time to put a second superstar around Steph Curry. The game last night against the Kings was atrocious. They were triple teaming this man. No one on the team other than Curry could get a shot. Draymond played well. Draymond could score, and I do think Draymond played at an elite level this year for his role. I thought Draymond was great, but they need another second all-star who can score. It's like one all-star per team is not it when you're paying the highest salary cap in the NBA. It's time to ditch Wiggins. Another mistake, this is a Dunleavy mistake, was trading Poole for Chris Paul. Fine, you want to get rid of Poole? Fine. Chris Paul is aged. He can't score. His tempo slows down the offense drastically. And I get it. They won 4 championships. This is a team that could have easily won 5 to 6. You could have had Steph Curry having 6 championships. Kevin Durant's playing at an elite, phenomenal level. And instead, the GM last year was like, I think I like our odds. I like what we have. We just won a championship last year. Well, guess what? You guys are in the gutters now. It's time to get Steph Curry a second star. If Klay does not want to take anything less than a vet minimum, when they paid him for 2 years, a max contract while he was injured, it's time to move on. The big three, and what he accomplished, one of the greatest shooters in NBA. He's not that anymore, but he's a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, but it's time to move on.